What is going on? You are listening to Tags Podcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex Podcast. I am your host, Stevie. This is episode 467 alongside Lincoln. How you doing, Lincoln?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you boys tonight?
Excellent. And of course, joining us over there in Brooklyn, Kodi, Maurice, Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful. It's so nice to see your lovely faces. You're
so much
beautiful.
better. It's everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, listeners, we're recording it in our respective homes, but you're seeing ourselves via video. So, this is going to be the makings of a good show. I have a really good feeling about this.
There's no doubt.
Yesterday I went to a drag brunch for a friend's birthday, and I had such a good time. It was at the Standard Hotel. Ooh. And it was so funny. One of the funniest things about the whole thing is they do brunch, a regular brunch in one room, and then we said the straights over there, and then in this other room was drag brunch. They have that kind of space. And at one point in the drag brunch, the two hosts, drag queen, said, should we go into the other room and just kind of like prance around? And the whole room was like cheering them on, which they did. But the straights on the other side actually supported them and were totally into it, but they were being cheeky, and I thought it was a lot of fun. And then we went to a place here in New York at the top of the Standard, LeBain. It was their final spring disco showdown of the season, and it was a lot of fun. We had and I met a guy, you guys.
What?
Yeah.
If I had $1.
Well, I keep saying on the show, that I don't really, I go to the Eagle and I meet guys out there, and when we first got to the rooftop, it was so crowded, and I was like, I'm not going to vibe. Well, after a few margaritas, I was feeling myself. And as the night went on, I was sitting and I met this guy, and we totally were talking, vibing off each other, and then made out a little bit, exchanged numbers. And you know that I came home early, and we were on the phone for an hour and a half just getting to know each other.
What? Like high school?
Yeah,
that's
like
lovely.
I was kind of thinking like high school. It was so funny. It was fun. So we'll see. He said that he was intrigued. So we're leaving it at that. And I'm intrigued too. I know.
Okay.
I think that's a good.
I think so too. I think
adjective.
It's a good word.
An adjective. A noun.
Yeah.
It's a noun or an adjective. It's fine. It's a good word.
Adjective.
It's an adjective. You know what? Don't get me to lie.
It's a descriptive word to describe somebody, and that makes it an adjective.
An adjective. Okay.
Yeah, I was right. Look at that.
Yes,
that never happens.
Right. I didn't look it up, but I know that. I mean, yeah. Yeah. So a lot of fun on that.
I didn't know this was the SATs though. I was just wondering.
That's the extent of this, I swear. Okay. Well,
very intriguing.
I have to say really quick before we get into hot topics that we are in the middle of a Pride promo giveaway sponsored by AdamsToyBox.com. And I'm looking over here at some giveaway toys that they sent me that we can give out. And they're all pretty good. So what you want to do is take our survey, which is only going to help us. And thank you guys for already participating in it. We've gotten a lot of you. We're asking a lot of stuff on this survey, stuff that's going to help sponsorships, but also stuff about the show. Like, what do you like best about it? What could we do to improve? And when you get to that question, we really want to know the answers. So don't be shy. We'll take it with a grain of salt. I mean, no, we'll take it seriously. We won't take it with a grain of salt. And, it's all good info 6 years into this. So what you can do is go to our website, go to TAGSPodcast.com and hit the top of the page, click the link for our Tags Pride promo giveaway, and you'll be entered to win at the end of Pride, June 25th. But the whole month this whole time, you can get 25% off of everything. Just go to adamstoybox.com and use our promo code TAGS25. And they've got lube on there. They've got dildos. They've got all kinds of stuff. So take advantage of that while it's here.
Yes, I might go on there and get me some new toys.
Yeah. Okay, well, we got to get into it. And today, the NAACP Board of Directors issued a formal travel advisory. Guess where? Florida. And the travel advisory comes in direct response to Governor Ron DeSantis' aggressive attempt to erase Black history. But actually, when they wrote this, they also talk about LGBTQ plus individuals as well. They wrote, Florida is openly hostile towards African Americans, people of color, and LGBTQ plus. Before traveling to Florida, please understand that the state of Florida devalues and marginalizes the contributions of and the challenges faced by African Americans and other communities of color. This is like a big step. I was surprised to hear this. Of course, Governor Ron DeSantis totally said this is a joke. He actually said those words. I saw him in a contest. But in related, and then I want to hear what you guys think. In Orlando, there's a Florida traffic sign, a huge Florida traffic sign that was hacked recently, just the other day, that was probably supposed to warn people of some upcoming traffic hazard, and it says kill all gays on there. And this was actually on International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, and Transphobia. They're looking into it to see how this got hacked, but I don't know, Lincoln. I mean, when the NAACP comes aboard to issue a warning like this, what are your thoughts about that? And does it make you want to go to Florida ever?
No. Never. Yeah. I don't understand people that live there. I hope that the people that live there are fighting the good fight. I think it's very dangerous. Mm-hmm. I think that between the gun carry laws and what's being blared out in the media and, like you just said, on hacked street signs, no, I'm not comfortable with any of that. I haven't been to Florida in a very long time, and there's definitely other places in the world I would rather go before there. And I hope they pull it together. The thing that makes me, not to get off subject, but the thing that makes me even more nervous than that is to think that Ron DeSantis might run for president. And with this kind of history, he probably won't get very far nationally, which brings Trump back to the beginning of the line.
Right.
Like, not that I want DeSantis to win either. I want them to all break it apart so that Joe Biden can finish his next 4 years.
I say that the same way, too, that we don't want to punish the people that have made their home, like you said, there, all LGBTQ plus. And there's such huge communities there. We're talking about Fort Lauderdale, we're talking about Miami and other parts.
Key West.
You know, Key West.
Yeah.
But the thing about it, also, there's a lot of concerts right now. There's another story, I don't want to get too much into it, on whether or not artists, we're talking about pop artists, should perform in places that have anti-LGBTQ plus laws on the books right now. And I think they should, because they can make their political statements when they're on tour. And why should the people of a particular state that has these anti-laws be punished and not get Taylor Swift or Madonna or whoever's going on tour? And so, I mean, this is the year where everybody and their grandmother's on tour. It's just nuts. I was laughing the other day. It's like, this is the year.
We outside.
So save your coin. Why. Yeah. Kodi, what are your thoughts, though, about the NAACP and the travel advisory?
I'm glad that the NAACP actually took a stand for this, and I'm glad that they are showing everybody that if we don't stand together, then we're going to fall for anything at this point. So all of the people that are marginalized need to come together and not be divided by anything that's going on right now. We need to stand in opposition of any racist, homophobic things, because we're all on the same team here. We're all against the bigots and things of that nature. I don't know if you guys saw, but Ron DeSantis just passed a law in Florida saying that they had to teach Asian American and Pacific Islander history in the classrooms, and they did that. He did that. This is what I got this from an Asian American that said this in order to make it known that they were the model minority. And this Asian American person was saying, don't fall for this, that this is only to divide us and we can't let that happen.
Wow. So it's like a front, sort of, is what you're saying. This, what he's trying to say, put Asian American studies in schools, but the person you were talking to said this is not real, or
they're doing it, but they're saying that these people are the best type of minority, and they're doing it to divide us, basically.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, yeah, no, he's
it's
evil.
a crazy time that we live in. It's a very sad and crazy time.
If I had to ask you guys, what out of the states, who has the most closeted cases, where would you say? I'm just curious. Kodi, if you had to guess.
I would say...
Wait, let me give you a little hint.
Okay, I was like, does this have an answer?
You've been a part of one of these states.
I was going to say Kansas.
Well, coming in at number 4 is West Virginia.
Oh, I'm not from... I lived in Virginia, not West Virginia.
Sorry, I can't keep those track.
Oh, God.
I'm on East Coast, West Coast.
Oh, my goodness. Oh,
okay,
my goodness,
I thought you were West Virginia.
Oh, no, that's...
that was my other boyfriend back in the day. He was from West Virginia. Yeah, I swear. Coming in at number 1, though, is Utah. And I know that's probably not that surprising, but Google searches from 2004 to this year show that Utah ranked number 1 in searches for terms like, am I gay? Am I lesbian? Am I trans? And the data was originally pulled by researchers from Cultural Currents Institute from Google Trends and confirmed by ABC4. CCI also pointed out that searches for questions about sexual gender identity had spiked 1,300% nationwide since 2004. And CCI believes the data shows Utah to be the most closeted state in America. So this is interesting, I think. Just to read you the other ones, coming in at number 2 is Iowa, number 3, Indiana, like I said, number 4, West Virginia, and number 5, New Hampshire. And this is just for gay. I won't, since we're more of a gay sexuality, and I'll report on those numbers. Lincoln, have you been to any of those states? And what, I mean, you two are such a coastal boy that it's hard to imagine, right? But we forget that some of our other states, it's not as easy.
Yeah, I it's not that hard for me to imagine. I understand it. I just haven't spent a lot of time there. I've spent time in Columbus, Ohio, but not Utah. And that was also in a different decade. So I haven't spent any, I think our times are changing so quickly with everything going on in our world that I see why, people in the fields trying to get out there, it's harder. So I wonder.
Well, it's a good thing to consider as well, Kodi, because sometimes I do think, you lived in Kansas City. We got that corrected. But I'm from the Bay Area, San Francisco's, where in 21, I was going out to the bars. And then I moved to West Hollywood. And then, of course, I moved to New York City. Could it seem like we're in a bubble sometimes when we talk about or not a bubble, but that maybe we don't take everybody into consideration?
I love living in my bubble.
We all live in bubbles.
Yeah,
you have to live in a bubble.
I would never want to go. I'm going to Vegas in 4 hours, actually. So, but I'm getting on a flight. We're going to Vegas. We're gonna have a good old time. But my mom,
that's a tricky one for.
Yeah, it's still it's progressive enough. But I'm not going to be afraid to hold Joe's hand walking down the street, basically. But I would be if I were to go. My mom lives in Kansas, and we're going to meet each other in Vegas. But I would be a little bit if I were going to go see her in Kansas. I would be afraid to walk down the street holding Joe's hand because you never know what could happen there, because and that's why I feel like it's taken for granted a little bit that this is the type of situation that's going on in those states, because here we don't have to worry about that. And it is a bubble. It's 100% a bubble that we live in. So
a very nice bubble.
I don't mean to
with
be
it, though.
I don't mean to be argumentative, but you could turn the wrong corner in New York holding a guy's hand and it go very south. So while the bubble is, you're right, okay, there's certain neighborhoods, there's certain people that could be traveling through New York City. I live on 8th Avenue, and some of the things that go up and down 8th Avenue the wrong direction on motorcycles and seeing Trump flags all of a sudden fly up 8th Avenue, I think we all just have to be careful no matter what. Our bubbles aren't as tight as they used to be.
I think you're right. I mean, we've reported on stories.
A lot of
recently.
things aren't as tight as they used to be.
Speak for yourself.
Not my hole.
I couldn't let it go by. Okay.
If my guy's watching, not my hole. But the thing is, you're right. And I was dating this guy, several months ago. We were in Jersey City. I don't know what the population of they have a couple bars there, though.
Yeah, Jersey City is pretty.
Yeah, he wanted to hold my hand, and I thought that was really lovely. But there wasn't a lot of people around. I would be a little bit more if somebody held my hand wherever I am, whether it's Manhattan or Kansas City. I think I would just be a little bit more on guard with the state of the world that we are in right now. I just think that's where we're at. And, you don't want to be, caught off guard. That's just the worst feeling. I think.
Yeah, I hear that. And I was just speaking in a general sense. I wasn't really, because I feel like things like that, people more against LGBTQ people and our sexuality and just us existing, that happens more in Kansas than it happens here, I would say.
Well,
generally
I would be careful in Vegas.
Well, I mean,
just be careful in Vegas.
Thank you, dear. I always try. My head is on a swivel. I always be looking around like, what's going on here?
Yeah, look at in Orlando, land of Disney World, you're getting killed gays in somebody hacked that sign.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's like
insane.
And putting that out there is only revving up that fired up right-wing side. That's where violence starts, because it's like that's a dog whistle, or just for a certain type of crowd. So all right, moving on. There's this model. He's really beautiful, actually. Ooh. Jonathan Mujica, I believe is his name. He's gorgeous, and he was interviewed by Cocktails and Cock Talk. And he's half Venezuelan and half Chilean. Say no more. Yes. So, yeah, he's Milan. He's a Milan-based model, and he was recently taking some shots. He was talking about his relationship with his body. He told Yummy, "For me, nudity is one of the moments when everyone should feel powerful and nothing to be ashamed of. I feel comfortable being naked because I love my body in every shape, in the best and worst in the shape, because it is not about shape. It is about loving and understanding your full self." And, I have to say, I had to he's gorgeous. He's a model. I think that's often easy to say when you are, in your 20s and modeling like that. It reminded me of a recent story I heard of Kim Kardashian. She was on a podcast talking about motherhood and how difficult motherhood is, and how she had one daughter, she has to braid her hair and it has to be perfect, and then the other one has to eat this certain thing, and then the other one has to, and she's like, it's just really, I cry myself, she said, every day. And it was kind of one of those things, it's like, girl, I don't know that I have that much sympathy for some of these people when they say some of these things, and you're a model, we get it. But given that in mind, Lincoln, I'm
losing my light, so I'm moving my screen around. All of a sudden, I should have gotten the damn ring light, and I didn't do it, but it's okay.
I'll get you a ring light. All right, but
I have one. It's just I didn't know we were going there, and then we went there, and now this friggin' sun's going down. So I'm like,
Oh,
hi, my
man.
light is over. I know how to find my light.
You're like, just give me 10 more minutes, please.
Do you feel comfortable being naked at whatever shape your body is in at whatever time? Do you have that ability now at this point?
I have felt stronger about that at different times in my life. And this is, hey, Peter. Oh, look. And the light just arose from the background.
What a producer moment you've got over there.
This is going to be great. I can see things breaking. And
Where's
that was
where's Joe, Kodi?
No, right? I wish I had $1 million right now.
What was my point? I think it's how you're feeling about your life in a given moment. I will say, though, I have a family member who I always joke about how, oh, I'm naked, so let me, put on something before you come over in California, or let me put on something. And this person's like, you're always naked. I'm never naked. I don't like being naked. I don't. Oh, nice.
Oh.
But now it's going to bounce off
Thanks,
the
Peter.
glass. Son of a bitch. It's all.
I know. I'm
so
I can dig him up.
I think it depends. And something else. I'm just going to say this story for the heck of it. I'm being an adult these days, and I have thank you, honey. I appreciate that. Just higher would be great. I have a meeting with an attorney tomorrow, and you're an adult. We're doing adulting things, and I need to do it. So one of the exercises I did today was I audio record all of my doctor's appointments and all of my appointments with attorneys.
Smart.
So I went and I listened to my last meeting with my mother's attorney today. It was an hour long.
Wow.
And I repeated myself a lot, which was a nice little note.
Right.
But I sounded so adult. And I remember in that meeting, I felt like an absolute imbecile. Like,
wow.
I didn't feel like
where you're going
I could wrap my head around it. I didn't feel like I knew what I was talking about. My mother's dead. It's been 2 years. I'm supposed to be better than I am now. I'm supposed to do, and I felt, I just felt everywhere. And I've been a model, and I haven't been a model, and
right.
I get how I look. Like right now, I cannot take a selfie right now if my life depended on it. I don't know why. There's just something about the way I see myself in the phone. It's not computing to what I look like.
Mm-hmm.
Or like in that meeting, when I thought I was a total moron, I actually sounded really good. And after listening to it, I actually got all the points. I didn't retain them, which is why I had to listen to them. And that's part of being dyslexic. But having it be recorded and then have me take notes on what my behavior was and what I asked and what the answers were, I am so ready for tomorrow. So whether you're a model or not, sometimes I want to be naked, sometimes I don't.
I like that. Kodi, what about
my lighting
you?
is much better. Sorry.
Your lighting's much better. Kodi, what are your thoughts on, are you comfortable with your body at all, like this model is at all times? Do you respect your body at all times?
So I think that everybody has issues with their body across the gamut. You could have the most beautiful body in the world, and you're still going to have that thing in your brain that says, oh, this is not attractive or this is not attractive. So I don't want to like disregard him just because he's a model. Kim Kardashian, on the other hand, I can go. I could talk ad nauseum about them, but I'm not going to. So I'm going to say that I do think that he has a valid point, and I am glad that he is naked and happy with his body, even despite him having any type of issues with his body. Me personally, I love to be naked. I'm in the same boat as Lincoln. I love to be naked. I love my body. I definitely see how I can have moments where I think that I'm not the sexiest. So I feel like that's when I post on Instagram more, or when I do things for the validation and that ego boost, because it really does kind of help me see that I am actually beautiful. Because it, like Lincoln was saying, if you take a step back and look at yourself from a like third person even, then it provides some objectivity or some some more clarity for your vision. So I do think that that's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with him too. I think as I've gotten older, I actually have more respect for my body now. I've talked a lot about going to the naked beach, which was a huge step of being naked in a public setting, which I've gotten much more comfortable with that. And that had to do with issues when I was a younger kid of, ooh, I don't want them to look at me, my nipples or my genitals. And
Mm-hmm.
I got over all that. Now I'm like, look, or whatever. I'm just comfortable with myself that way. I also think when you're doing things, I was talking to a neighbor friend of mine. He had just gone away and he's like, oh, I enjoyed every food I wanted to eat on this vacation. And now I need to like get back to training hard again.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what you do on holiday,
Yeah.
right? You enjoy, and as long as you're doing something wellness wise or you're taking care of yourself, I like the trade-off, and I'm comfortable with my body more than ever before. It's always a work in progress. I know how to dress myself in a way that accentuates the features of my body, and then
Mm-hmm.
the things that maybe I don't, I know how to like work all those secrets for myself and make me look like presentable in a way that I'm really comfortable. And then naked, I just go with it. So I'm happy with it. So,
Is it me?
yeah.
Oh.
Mm.
What was that?
Oh, wait. I think I paused for a second, but I think I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Kodi
Sorry.
had a stroke. We're fine.
No. My computer had a stroke.
No stroke jokes. Okay.
Hey guys, your buddy Stevie here, and I'm really excited to talk to you about Joy Mode. Recently, I was just in Puerto Vallarta, and I was getting together with a guy, and I wanted to be ready and hard. I didn't want to take one of those prescription medications that go through your bloodstream. I wanted something natural. Joy Mode worked so well with me, and I was so happy that it's naturally based. That's right. It's going to get you ready to go, but in a natural way. Joy Mode is here to save the day. Whether you're happy or unhappy with your performance in the bedroom, why not perform even better? Joy Mode's sexual performance booster is like a pre-workout, but for sex. The Sexual Performance Booster is designed to support erection quality and firmness and sex drive, and it contains clinically supported doses of arginine nitrate, L-citrulline, Panax ginseng, and vitamin C. It was created with the best-in-class scientists and biochemistry PhDs. After taking the Sexual Performance Booster, blood levels of arginine nitrate will increase, which will direct promote nitric oxide production, penile tissue relaxation, and increased drive. And I can speak from experience that this really worked for me. Meanwhile, the antioxidant action of vitamin C will protect nitric oxide from oxidative degradation, which enhances the blood flow promoting activity of nitric oxide. Collectively, these effects enhance sex drive and blood flow to the penis, resulting in better performance. And even as a bottom, I can tell you, most of my tops want me to be hard. This just makes everybody happy. I love Joy Mode. Joy Mode was created because the products on the market can be terrible. The prescriptions come with all sorts of side effects. Over-the-counter gas station pills are sketchy and fraudulent, but lots of guys take both because they don't have a better option. All you got to do is take this with 6 to 8 ounces of water, just like your favorite electrolyte packet. For best use, consume Joy Mode anywhere from 45 minutes to 4 hours prior to your hot sex. You'll notice better blood flow, better erection quality and firmness, and increased sexual energy and drive. Want to spice things up in the bedroom and boost your sexual performance and do it naturally without nasty prescription drugs? Well, we have a special offer for the TAGS audience. Go to usejoymode.com/tags or enter TAGS, TAGS at checkout for 20% off your first order. That's usejoymode.com/tags for 20% off your first order. And you know what? Thank you, Joy Mode. There's an interesting on HIV Plus magazine, a story that came out that posed the question: has barebacking become basic? So, in the age of PrEP and U equals U, undetectable equals untransmittable, of course, is condomless sex still a radical act or just an average Tuesday? And I really like this article. I'll post it on Tags Podcast. It goes into great depth, but we'll just focus on a few parts of it. But, not that long ago, but I guess a long time ago, in 1997, bareback used to be a dirty word. And Pause magazine back in the day did a whole article to describe condomless sex at that period. It was the birth of bareback phenomenon, but also the bareback backlash. So barebackers were portrayed as murderers, lunatics, traitors to their community. And some of that panic still lingers, but now open displays of condomless sex are ubiquitous, online in porn and in sex clubs. So I think it's really an interesting transition that we've seen throughout the years of, even when we're celebrating 6 years of Tags Podcast, the early days of this podcast, PrEP was just coming on board. And I was one of those that just wasn't on board yet. And I know other co-hosts at the time were. I think that it's really interesting where we've come. I mean, what are your thoughts, Lincoln, this whole transition that we've come to, where now when you hear, bareback, you've seen the eras of what bareback used to be and how it used to be considered. And now,
but before everything, bareback was totally natural.
Right.
Then the HIV crisis happened, and it was a necessary step in keeping people alive.
Yeah.
There are still, this is reductive to say, but I still have to do it. There are still other things you can get.
Yes.
Right.
So there are great reasons to incorporate condoms into your sex life if you are having sex with multiple partners. Right?
100%.
Correct.
The moment I will also say this too.
I don't, but with that comment, I don't use condoms, and I'm with kind of like the current phenomenon.
Correct.
I take my chances. I get tested more often, but for me, unless somebody asks,
I don't like condoms either.
If they want to, I will. But
yeah, I can't even handle a condom in a porn movie.
Yeah, I can't.
I see a condom in a porn movie, and I'm like, I'm out. However, when right before
why
PrEP,
does that make it unsexy? I do the same thing, so I'm like,
unless every once in a blue moon, there's like someone who seems really straight in a porn that uses a condom, and I'm like, well, maybe as a wife, and that's what I don't know. I need to really go down the fantasy road to accept it. You know what I mean? And usually, well, I don't need to go down that road. But what I will say for people and I think I've said this on the show before, for people who do still use condoms and like to use condoms for whatever reason, really do your shopping. Because when I was using condoms prior to PrEP, certain condoms go better with certain buttholes and certain condoms go better with certain penises. That I cannot tell you. When I was single before PrEP, I had a lot of different condoms, and I would try one on and I'd be like, nope, this doesn't work on you. But if I tried this one on you, oh my God, let's go to town. And I remember I went to Amsterdam.
Like a game. I love it.
I went to Amsterdam and I found these condoms, which I think I still have. They're way expired, but they're more of a momentum. And they felt better than not wearing a condom. Does that make sense? It felt really good. So shop your condoms. Just like the toys that we're giving away for Pride Month, shop your condoms.
It's so funny because I was at this rooftop party yesterday and my friend noticed, oh, look at all these people with fanny packs. Like that's the whole thing right now, or some sort of purse thing moment. And he's like, what do they have in them? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, for me, it would be, I don't know, poppers but in your case, you could put all kinds of condoms in there because in the event that you meet somebody for a one night stand, you could be like, hold on, let me just check here. This looks like this would be a good fit for you. And you got to put something in that fanny pack. I mean, what else?
I love a fanny. I will give you a tutorial on a fanny pack in a heartbeat. But Kodi, you were going to say.
No,
because
I was just interested in where that story was going. I was like, fanny pack. Okay, I'm ready.
For me,
I'm along for the ride.
Seeing men wearing pants with a cell phone and keys and a wallet all in their pockets, put it in a cool little bag that you can put to the side. It's such a slimmer line. It's much more fashionable. I'm going to let it go.
Kodi, we have a mutual friend. He's your best friend, but who always has a bag in tow. And he rocks that bag.
A lady do carry a purse. Okay.
And he looks fabulous.
It looks fabulous.
Love a bag.
Yeah.
On the condom topic, I think that I agree with Lincoln 100% that I think that people should be doing what they feel in order for them to be safe in any situation. And there are a lot of things out there, and people should, be using condoms if they want to, and at least know what's going on with their partner, and having that talk about what other people are with their promiscuity levels and what they're doing out there.
Yeah, and it's just an interesting story for everyone to read. I will post this, like I said, on the website, just because this person really documents where we've come in that era, where in the late 90s, it was, I remember that period, bareback was a dangerous word, and it was almost used in a derogatory way. Of if you knew somebody that was saying bareback or they were doing bareback, you were immediately like, oh, don't go near there. And it also, HIV positive men reclaimed the word for themselves. And at a time where people, there's still stigma around being HIV positive, sadly, at times, even with U equals U. I mean, I had another conversation with a neighbor who, he said, I sleep with positive men, I sleep with not positive men. And he was telling me a story of recently somebody said they were positive, and in the back of his head, he saw pre-cum on the guy's dick. And in his head, he got a little crazy with it. I said, you know what you need to do is you need to just have a conversation with the guy. And 9 times out of 10, they're probably undetectable.
Yeah.
So, but you need to ask them, and that will, probably put that, out of your mind.
But for some people, the moment you ask them, they might be offended, and then it really depends. It's such a different day. It's and there is not a lot of respect given to the people that lived through that time, I feel, these days, because no one really understands it. Do you remember when there were bug chasers?
Yes.
People who wanted to get positive because they felt they were more part of the community if they were positive.
I read that there's still bug chasers out there.
I think you're right. We've talked about that.
And no judgment to that. If that is what you're doing, it is your life. We cannot put we can only be responsible for ourselves, right? And our own way of thinking. Yeah. So it's hard. It's not an easy thing ever.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. Well, Kodi, did you have one more thought?
I have one more thought. Yeah. I think that we should to piggyback, not bareback, but piggyback off of what Lincoln was saying, and what you were saying as well, Steve. I think that the more that we talk about and normalize having these conversations, then that'll take the stigma out of a lot of different things. So we need to learn how to talk about sex more, period.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's time to give a little bit of advice, and this comes from a Reddit thread, so you can kind of just give your opinion on this one. Lincoln, I know you love a good Reddit thread.
Shoot me now.
So this person wrote, working through a tough dry spell, and they want advice. Going through a dry spell, dating sex-wise, have had no luck with apps, very few matches, responses, even fewer conversations that lead anywhere. Not sure what I'm doing wrong. Maybe I'm just horribly undesirable. On Grindr, I feel like I've seen everyone, and they've probably all seen me. All the people I'm interested in have already rejected me in one way or another. I'm hesitant to reach out to anyone else because, and this might be stupid, it's sort of humiliating walking around town knowing all the guys within a 1 mile radius have turned me down. But on the other hand, no one ever messages me. So what else am I supposed to do? Laughing out loud. Maybe the solution is just to delete the apps altogether. In a way that feels like giving in to the loneliness through typing that sounds a bit pathetic. Anyway, how can I either be more successful on apps or feel secure enough that I feel like I don't need them? I'm currently searching for a therapist, and I applaud therapy at all times, and I think dry spells do exist. And I do think, as someone wrote in the comment section of this thread, maybe you can open your radius of where you're searching beyond a mile. I have like 10 miles on mine.
Oh, I bet you do.
Sometimes 20 in Puerto Vallarta, because I can get on a train or an Uber ride, but I don't really use the apps that much. But Kodi, if you had to give some advice on a dry spell, what would be some thoughts for this guy who seems he's really divulging a lot?
Yeah. For me personally, and for this specific person and their what they're going through, their issue, what they're going through, I think that taking a break might be a good idea and going to see that help. And maybe if instead of trying to give into the loneliness, as they put it, I would find other outlets to try and look for people, maybe go to a bar if that's available, or something within the community. There's so many outlets out there, and I just think that if they did more uplifting things within the community, then I think that would help boost their self-esteem a little bit more.
And I'm going to piggyback off of what you're saying. I would say 2 things. Surround yourself with friends, because friends know other friends. Friends also get you to go out to places that you normally wouldn't go to. Example, last night, birthday party, didn't really want to go to LeBain on a rooftop, and it was so crowded. I needed to check my attitude. I should have checked it at the door, but I was like not feeling it at first. I was like, and I don't really do well in overly crowded spaces, but I was there for the birthday. Well, after a margarita, I loosened up and I got over myself, attitude checked somewhere on the floor. And ultimately, because I took myself out of my normal curriculum, the Eagle, I actually met a guy that wasn't in a sex-filled space, and we connected, and like I said, we had that conversation for 90 minutes, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where this goes. But you got to...
you're intrigued.
Yeah, I'm intriguing. He called me intriguing. I love that.
And you're a testimony right there. So you're giving
testimonial.
Exactly.
Lincoln, what are your thoughts on this guy who's maybe in a dry spell?
So I'm very happy that he's going to get therapy. I don't think his problem is the apps. I think it's the voice in his head that he is believing about what's happening on the apps.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone is rejecting you because you haven't been messaged. Not like that's a broad stroke to say I walk down the street and I see people and I know they've all rejected me.
Yeah.
I would delete your profile, delete it and redo your picture, delete it and redo your bio, and whatever you're like, rebrand yourself. Take a breath and rebrand.
They do that. That's a whole thing on Instagram too. Oh, they're rebranding.
Just stop and rebrand. But also, before you rebrand, go sign up for some volunteer work.
Yeah. Ooh.
You go sign up to do God's Love We Deliver, or Meals on Wheels, or giving out books at a library thing, or I'm making things out. Go sell Girl Scout cookie. I don't care. Just get out of the people don't like me, I'm in a dry spell, and see what some people out there are really going through. Yeah. And that the person knocking the door next to you could be your next husband. So those are my 2 things of advice.
Those are great. I love it.
Especially in that Girl Scout cookie skirt. I don't know. I mean, hello.
Don't know.
To you.
I went to UPS today to drop off. Sorry, this is such a tangent. But I went to UPS on 18th and 7th to drop off some Protein Bakery because we already had our pickup for the day. And I wanted it to get out, customer service. And as I handed him the box, behind was like a marker that said Girl Scout cookies, $5. And they just had boxes of Girl Scout cookies that I guess the guy there was selling.
Oh, wow.
So just so you know, there's a Girl Scout cookie hub at the UPS store at 18th and 7th.
Can you pick me up a box of samosas, please?
They were all out of Thin Mints, so I walked out disappointed.
Well, let's move on to one more advice-driven Reddit, and this one a lot of people can relate to. This one a lot of people can relate to as you're embarking on maybe somebody you're excited about, and they wrote, "Don't want to screw this potential date, and I need advice. I'm 33, he's 25, I'm Asian, expat, and he is local born. We met in the gym today. He initiated the conversation on Grindr and told me I was muscular, and I immediately figured who he is in the gym. I revealed myself to him before leaving the gym, and we had been talking on the app after I left. He is just totally my type, and I fell too fast. He seems to be interested. He would send a Facebook back when I sent. He sent a Facebook back when I sent mine. He discusses his interests, experience, and workouts with me on the app. He compliments my body, and we could make small jokes. I asked if he wants to go get some coffee this week, and he said yes. I'm nervous now. He seems like a chill, nice dude. He didn't ask for nudes, and he talked to me like a very decent human being.
Aww.
He's cute, and I really like him. I'm not sure if he likes me too. And how should I behave on the first date? Were we talking about high school a minute ago?
Girl.
Okay, how to impress him.
I was like waiting for the issue.
How to impress him and win his heart over. One thing I really don't want is to scare him away because I feel for him already. I am hiding this from him tonight when he talked on the app. I played cool and like a gentleman, but I had been thinking of his cute smile since then. Oh, this is adorable, though.
It's
and I think
cute.
he's so in his head because I think the guy actually likes him. And I'll just give my little take in my little story. Yesterday, I was talking to my friends. We went to the diner after we were at LeBain, and they said, "You talked enough to him. Don't message him anymore." I'm like, I won't. And then I went home, and lo and behold, he messaged me. And then he called me, like I said earlier, and I'm like, should I pick up the phone? I'm like, yes, I'm going to pick his call up. And so sometimes I think you should put yourself out there a little bit and show that you are interested. I mean, you can dial it down a little bit, but I'm here for it.
Let Lincoln go first.
Okay.
Pressure.
No, it's no pressure at all. First of all, if you go into any situation like that bundle of nerves, you're going to fall on your face. Like, just take a breath and be you.
Yeah.
And what?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, no.
I know
and
that.
What,
you better change that face, Kodi.
No, I agree 100%.
Not to make it all about me, but I'm speaking. It's fascinating that now I'm 4.5 years into a relationship for the first time in my life where someone is just saying, be more you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be,
and bringing you a ring light.
You don't exactly bringing me a ring light when I need it. You don't need to be quieter. You don't need to pretend you're not upset when you are. You don't need to be funny when you're not feeling funny. Just be 100% you. And every time I have that reminder from Peter, or I forget it and I try and remind myself, things turn out better. And the last thing I'll say is, if this crashes and burns and doesn't go anywhere more than tonight's date, feel that feeling of crushing on somebody and being excited about somebody and wanting to get to know someone and wanting to impress someone, because it's just how you're feeling about yourself. It actually has nothing to do with the other person.
So
I love that. That's really adorable. And really, I mean, seeing Peter earlier that would get me more excited than someone bringing flowers, because somebody bringing me a ring light and hearing me.
You self-absorbed son of a bitch. I need a ring light, not flowers.
In my production moment, that would show that they really understand my work, that I need a technical moment, and that would get me more excited than flowers. So you hit a winner there. Kodi, what are your thoughts for this Redditor?
Yeah, this guy is totally in his head. And to piggyback on what Lincoln said, I think that if you aren't being yourself and you're trying to be somebody else, or what you think that this guy wants out of the world, when you actually do start to be yourself, that guy's going to be like, "Who the hell is this?
What happened to
What happened to the Antonio that I knew?" That's the name out of anywhere. I
like
pulled it
it.
out the air.
Right.
Yes, and he's gonna be like, "Where is my Antonio? This is a new person." So you have to be yourself.
Well,
First and foremost.
Yeah.
And I think that being in my own relationship, I am glad to say that I am in a safe space where I can, just like with Lincoln and Peter, I can say, this is who I am, this is how I'm feeling, and we understand that we are okay to say that. Sometimes it rubs us the wrong way to say that kind of thing, but you take it in, and then you have to reassess and readjust your direction with that person.
Can I say just?
Go ahead.
I have a question and one more thing to say.
I was wondering if I did that right, but go ahead.
No, you did. You totally did. When both Kodi and I'm going to speak for Kodi now, because that will never get me in trouble. When we say be yourself, it doesn't mean you have to put it all out day one, first moment. Take your time. Hold back a little bit, breathe. Right. Don't just empty all your eggs out of the basket in one fell swoop. Easy. Easy. Sometimes everything is so instant and rushed these days. And that is a great way to blow your load and be single again in 47 minutes.
Yeah.
Right?
Go ahead. I was going to say, what I was alluding to is, don't create a different person. So you're right.
Yeah.
100.
Or just be slow. And maybe you being slow feels like a different person, but that's being an adult in a situation. That's not pretending to be someone you're not. But I do have one quick question. Can I have a redefine of what are the ages of the two people? Who's writing and who's the date?
So the one writing is 33 and the date is 25.
33 is a very hard year.
Oh.
Wasn't a great year for Christ. It's a very spiritual year. There's 3 days between the crucifixion and the resurrection. Like, you are all over your head at 33. And this is a beautiful boy in his 20s. So try again to get out of your head and know that 33 is a hard year. It's a hard year to make any decisions. So that's what, if the roles were reversed, I was going to have a very different thing about that. But there's a reason 33 is a pivotal year for a lot of people. So this could be it because you're 33.
Oh.
So
well, there you go.
Yeah,
well, I love it. Thank you for playing. This has been so much fun. You can follow my co-hosts you can follow Lincoln's Protein Bakery at Protein Bakery on Instagram. You can also follow his personal account at Mad Lincoln. You can follow Kodi, he's a life coach, at KMD Coaching, and follow his personal account at Mr. Maurice. And follow our show, like Lincoln said last time, we are now on Twitter, so at TAGSPodcast, and then on my own personal account on Instagram, I am _Steve V. Don't forget to sign up and take our survey, because you'll be entered to win our giveaway of some really cool toys. And simply go to our website, TAGSPodcast.com. You can get 25% off of Adam's Toy Box all month long, adamstoybox.com, and use our promo code TAGS25. Thanks, guys. So much fun. Yeah, great seeing your faces. And in the meantime, continue having hot gay sex.
With or without a condom.
There you go. I love it.